You asked, I'm delivering. In this video, I am going to walk you through my inquiry and sales call workflow so you can keep up those booking and close you some deals. Let's go. Hey there, if we haven't met yet, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I am a conversion copywriter and launch strategist for creative entrepreneurs like you. I put out videos like this every single week, so if while I'm talking you think I want more of this, then don't forget to join in on the fam. Just look down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it. And hit the like button if you've ever freaked out about getting on the sales call to communicate your pricing with a potential client. You've gotten sweaty palms, maybe put it out a little bit. They're so stressful. Trust me, I get it. I can hit the like button on that too. Well, this little writer who hates the phone, I'm showing my millennial when I say that, has used these tips that I'm gonna give you to close $10,000 brand messaging and website copywriting packages, $25,000 launch copy and strategy packages. I'm telling you, I have had to learn this the hard way, and that's what I'm gonna unpack in 3 steps, which are creatively before the call, on the call, and after the call. Number 1, before the call. So I'm gonna start off this workflow that I'm taking you through about midway through the sales funnel, starting at the point when an inquiry fills out the application form, contact form, whatever you wanna call it, on my website, and they reach out. The first thing that I want to do is respond to that with an inquiry email template we already have ready to go. And in that, I'm gonna make dang sure that I do price anchoring, which I like to do with a pricing magazine or PDF. And here's my soapbox. I want to prepare potential clients with price anchoring way before the time where we're actually on that call itself. I want there to be 0 goose egg % sticker shock. That's where sales calls get really awkward. I shared this with my students lately, but it's kind of like this. You know, when you see a menu that doesn't have the prices listed on it, at least I think, oh my gosh, that's probably out of my budget. It sounds really fancy, probably can't afford it. Or it's kind of like if you're out to eat with somebody else and they're potentially paying, like friends' parents or I don't know, on a date, and you see something that says market price. I typically am not gonna order anything that says market price if I'm with somebody I don't know super well, because it could be embarrassing. I don't know, just me. Bottom line, most people get embarrassed when they're put in a situation where they have sticker shock, especially if it's publicly. So we want to completely avoid that by making sure that you're putting price anchoring out before, which is why in that inquiry response, in that templated part of the workflow, I am always putting my pricing in front of them. They've got to see your price before you jump on a call with them. I feel like that changed my mind, coffee mug guy sitting down, but changed my mind. Let me show you what this part of the before the call workflow looks like in HoneyBook. That is the client relationship management tool that I'm obsessed with using in my business. Let me show you what that looks like. Here we are in HoneyBook. I'll show you up at the top in the navigation where I am. So if you click this tools, this library comes up where I'm over here in my templates, but you can see all the other things that you can do. I love HoneyBook. I will link below playlists I've done on other tutorials in HoneyBook. Something that you use. Hope that's helpful. But essentially, okay, so clearly I practice what I preach. These are all the templates that we have loaded in and ready to go. So I am going to have our inquiry response. So we have a couple of inquiry responses tailored for what we think that people will need when they chime in, but we also always link them, like I'm saying, to the pricing guide. So I wanted to show you quickly what that looks like. So we actually attach it in a PDF. We use HoneyBook, has a brochure tool that we use in tandem with proposals when we're actually sending over proposals, but we just send a PDF guide. I feel like that has been easiest for us to go in there and change things. And this is a little peek at what it looks like. So anyway, that goes to everybody who's interested in booking. And if they like what they see there, then they get a link to hop on to an Acuity call. The second big part of step 1 is actually preparing for the call. So I've talked about it probably ad nauseum for those of you that have been around for a while, but I am obsessed with batching my days. I've been doing it since 2017, and I stack all of my sales calls or calls in general, podcast interviews, as much as I can on one day out of the week. That's especially helpful given everything that's going on in the world and childcare being a little crazy. I know I have that one day where I need to be available. More importantly though, is that this helps me with the idea of context switching. If I just have calls and sales calls on that day, then I am in a state of mind, in a state of flow where I know that I'm selling, I'm on the call, I'm doing my thing, and I don't have to worry about stopping and going with different projects. On Thursdays, I have this notebook. It's just a pretty notebook from Appointed, and this notebook is only sales calls, partnership calls, podcast prep, anything that is calls related. Previously, when I batched sales calls, I would just find a little paper on my desk and I would be scrolling down things before the call, and then on the call itself, it's totally changed when I grabbed this and I just use this as my calls notebook. So each person gets a page, and let me show you what I do before. The first thing I do is research the client and find a back pocket hook. Basically a connection point. I'm gonna look up their website, look them up on a search engine, go to their social media accounts and see if I can find out a little bit more about them, but also maybe my security blanket. I wanna find one point of connection that I can use when we hop on that call, so I can say, oh, I see we are both friends with so-and-so, or so-and-so sent me your way, loved working with her. I gotta find that one thing, right? Okay, so I write that down, and then the next part of the prep, I write down these 3 secret weapons. Get ready, this is gonna blow your mind. It was also 100% not my idea. This is from Joel Clutke. He actually has a whole training on this. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I just found it super helpful. I'll link it below. Joel taught me to have these 3 things prepped. 1 tip, 1 article or resource is kind of more the way I look at it, and 1 example. Think of 1 tip that you can share with this potential client to give them some value add. Think of 1 article or podcast or book or something that you can use to show them that you know exactly what they're talking about. And number 3, go ahead, and I like to pull it up in a tab, but find some example of a client that I've worked with before or a project I've done that's similar to this that I can communicate to the client. I'll come back to these a little bit more in step 2. I also go ahead and decide before the call exactly what I want to sell them and exactly the price point I want to sell them at. And lastly, I go through their application and I jot down any true questions I have about the project, clarification that I need on it, etc. I'll get into how I use those in step 2, but before I do, comment below. Is this helping? What questions do you have so far? I know I'm kind of moving through this fast, but I want to get you as much information as possible. So let's jump into step 2, actually being on the call. So I have a 95 to 100% close rate on sales calls, but I think that's in large part due to this secret. I don't get on the phone with anybody that I, A, don't want to work with, and B, I don't think I can probably book. To me, otherwise is a waste of everyone's time. I stay in my sweet spot. I know who I serve and who I don't serve. I've talked about niching in other videos, so when I'm looking at these sales calls that are all batched on one day, it's Shark Tank mode, baby. Like, I want to work with these people. I want their business. I know I can do a dang good job. Now we're on the call itself, and I have a templated process here, so I'm really just running the template. First, be early. I can count on one hand the sales calls that I've been late to on Zoom or whatever, and it haunts me, so be early. This also gives you an opportunity to go ahead and hit the record button. Then the client gets on the call, and here's how the conversation goes. First thing, I'm gonna use that back pocket hook that I already talked about earlier. I've researched, I've figured out my little segue into the conversation, so I'm gonna pull that out. The second thing I do, and again, this is so templated out, I could say some of this in my sleep, but I am gonna let them know that I'm recording the call today. If we were to work together, I wanna make sure that I capture everything about the project. This is also important because in many states, it is illegal to record somebody on a call without letting them know, so red flashing light, you need to go ahead and tell them. Third thing I do is tell them exactly how that call is going to go. They're looking to you to be the leader, so step into the driver's seat and lead them, guide them through. They are on your turf, they're coming through your house, you need to show them around. I go ahead and give them a quick snapshot. I let them know we're gonna go through a little question period so I can hear more about the project. If it sounds like we could be a fit, I'll tell them about some ways to work together and then answer any questions that they may have. I communicate too that I know they're busy. I want to try as best as I can to keep it to around 20 minutes to respect their time. Then I bring out the notebook that I've already prepped on calls and I start going through again the workflow that is in here, which begins with questions. Shut up and let them talk. Here's a few questions, ideas of things that you could do. I'll let you pause and snag those, but here I'm trying to get a scope of the project, but I'm also really listening for words and ways that they're describing things. Remember, I've already decided I want to work with them. I've already decided the best diagnosis that I have for the problem that they've told me about in their application. So here I'm just listening to hear what are those pain points? Why are they struggling with this? This is also your first chance to play that card and throw out the article or the podcast or the book that you're reading. I got 20 minutes to prove to these people I'm not an idiot and I know what I'm talking about and I'm educated in their industry and in their niche, so I absolutely love doing this and just being like, you know what, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was actually reading an article about that earlier today and I learned XYZ. It's quite helpful. After I've heard them, I segue into how we can work together. It sounds like you're looking for XYZ. I have a perfect solution for that. Do you mind if I tell you a little bit about it? Back to the notebook. I've been taking notes the whole time that they're talking, so I want to continue to say things back to them that they've mentioned to me. I click over to that example tab that I have pulled up so I can show them the example that I have and remind them of that result that they want. Then the money talk. Remember, at this point, they know my pricing. They have a ballpark idea of what I'm going to charge. And I've also just shown them everything that we can do. I found it most helpful to be casual and honest here and say, all right, are you cool if we talk about the investment for something like this? If it takes practicing this 100 times, be able to look them directly in the eye when you say your pricing. As I answer any questions that they may have, I'm gonna do that final secret weapon and pull out the tip and just remind them of something that they could do for a quick win. Maybe it's something that they can change in their business. Maybe I have a freebie. Bringing out the tip is a great way to show them, okay, if she does that for free, what could she do with the full budget? Let me give you an example of this. When I did calligraphy and wedding stationery, I would always give, during this part of the process, my brides a spreadsheet and a guide, like a PDF guide on how to start collecting addresses. I knew I was gonna need that one day, but I also wanted to give them a freebie. And step 3, after the call, do what you said you're gonna do and send the dang deliverable. Go ahead and get that proposal ready and send it. This is where templates slay all day. Let me turn the camera around one more time and show you what this looks like in Honeybook. So we move back over to Honeybook, and once I'm in here, you're gonna see, like I said, we have our proposal emails ready to go. So they go in tandem with your either brochure or proposal. To be honest, between the two of these, I would pick, you can use them for what they're meant for. So brochure is more meant for like a pricing guide, and proposal is obviously meant for a proposal. We kind of do a little hybrid of them. So let me show you what this looks like. So here's an example of, see, this is a brochure, but actually is for the proposal. I hope that's not too confusing. You can kind of see like how we would give this over to the client to look at for review. And then once they are secure with what they want and we have that information from them, we'll go ahead and send over the actual proposal that includes payment plan info for them and contracts so we can get it signed, buttoned up, and ready to move on. Now you know how to nail your sales call, but what about another email template and pitch process you may need? In this next tutorial I have for you, I'm going to show you all about how to create an email template for your media pitches so you can use that. And there you have it. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe. As always, I love talking about workflows, systems, and processes that I use in my copywriting business, so let me know if you have any questions.